What's up guys, I'm Michael, and today we're going to be talking about tilt shift lenses, and more specifically, using them to shoot panoramics. Now, tilt shift lenses, or perspective control, depending on the brand you're using, Nikon, are typically used in architecture, real estate, and macro photography because of their unique characteristics. That's not to say you don't see them for other kind of more creative effects. They're used a lot of times to shoot like cityscapes and things like that to kind of create that miniature diorama look. They're used in portraiture a lot of the time because you can shift the focal plane and create a really unique bokeh that pulls you to your subject. It's also used for interior photography because you can shoot a mirror from this and shift the image plane so that the camera doesn't show up in the mirror, which is really cool. Now that's not what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about using the shift functionality of this to shoot panoramic kind of stitched images and to merge them using Photoshop. So sadly, I'm not really going to talk about the tilt function today. Maybe we'll make another video about that later. We'll see. Anyway, how the shift function works is you move the optics parallel to the imaging plane. The advantages of this is it helps to greatly diminish and reduce distortion on wide-angle lenses. It also allows you to correct for linear distortion. And what I mean by linear distortion is if you're standing in a city taking a picture of a cityscape, the buildings, the top of the building seem to kind of converge up, right? And we know that's not what it actually does. But by shifting the image plane, what we can do is we can straighten those lines so it appears how it actually should and does not have that linear distortion. Now, like I said, we're not going to be really using the lens for that in these examples. What we're going to do is we're going to be shifting the optics along the imaging plane to shoot multiple images to merge together to create one nice big panoramic of a scene. Now for this example, we're going to be using two lighthouses from vacation in Maine. Now the first one is going to be the Bass Harbor Head Lighthouse. And second, we're going to use the Portland Head Lighthouse. All right, now first things first. We're gonna go to Bass Harbor Head and we're gonna talk about shooting panoramic here. Now I do wanna discuss, we went with the intention of shooting sunset. So we got there 2.5 hours early. This allowed us to get a lot of really different, really cool looks. Essentially, when we first got there, it was really foggy and overcast, and so it kind of looked like a horror movie, kind of like suspense vibe. And then the sun kind of started to set, burned off a lot of that fog, so we got some really dramatic kind of golden hour. And then the fog started to roll back in, and we got a little bit of the golden hour with fog. It was really cool. Now, first thing you need to note about shooting a panoramic with a tilt shift lens is you have to shoot on a tripod. And this is because we're shifting across the image plane. So we need to make sure it stays lined up and stays precise so that the Photomerge is going to look accurate. From on the tripod, we went to arrange and frame our first shot. We shifted the optics to the right so that we could have plenty of movement to go left out into like the vastness of the ocean to kind of just show how expansive it was. So positioned the optics to the right, focused on the lighthouse, took a shot, and then shifted and shot, shifted and shot. Now doing this, I was bracketing, so we were shooting 5 shots of each scene so we could get that nice dramatic dynamic range, and we could do some high dynamic range merges if we wanted to. All right, now before we go over how to like actually do the photo merge in Photoshop, let's put a pin in that, and then let's hop over to our second example of doing this, wide panoramic with a tilt shift. Let's head over to Portland's Head Lighthouse, where there's all these really beautiful rock formations and all these different places to explore out and adventure out onto to get different angles. Also got some beautiful shots through some gardens and plants and foliage. But I will also mention the day was a little bit dreary. It was a little bit overcast, so I will apologize right now to the purists in the group. We did do some sky replacement on some of these edits to kind of give it a little bit more oomph, a little more something, you know? So, here's some beautiful B-roll of Portland's Head Lighthouse, as well as us shooting. All right, now that we're through that, let's go ahead and let's take these images, and I'll show you how to do a photo merge in Photoshop. All right, now that we're in Photoshop, it's very simple and straightforward. We're going to go up to File, and then down to Automate, and then we're gonna select Photo Merge. Now, once the Photo Merge menu pops up, it'll give you a selection of options on the left-hand side here. For what we're doing with the tilt shift lens, we are perfectly fine with just leaving it on auto and allowing it to work from there. We're gonna go ahead and click Browse and select the images from our target location. Now you can select as many images as you want, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like, you know, sky's the limit, have fun. Let's see how much your computer can handle doing. But in this situation, from the Bass Harbor Head Lighthouse, I'm gonna pick 2, because I really like the kind of cinematic look that 2:1 panoramic creates. So once I've selected my 2 images, it's as simple as clicking OK. Now Photoshop will do a really excellent job of aligning these images. Beauty of the tilt shift, because everything is on the same image plane and just shifted left to right. There should be basically nothing lost. It should essentially fill the entire canvas. As you can see, there is almost nothing lost except for a tiny little strip on the edge. Now, I prefer to group the photo from here, to group the layers, because how it works is it takes the images and it creates layer masks to perfectly align them. I like to group them so that I can create a clean layer of just the whole canvas ready to work on. Once I've created that layer, I'm going to go ahead and crop out this little extra edge from the canvas to make sure that we have a full canvas and we don't have any missing pixels. And once that is done, we can go ahead and begin editing, starting off with something as simple as Camera Raw. Alright guys, so that's all there is to it. That's how you do a photo merge and take panoramic images with a tilt shift lens. It's very easy, very streamlined, and creates some fantastic results. Speaking of, let's take a look at those now. that's going to wrap us up, guys. For those of you that stuck around to the end, I really appreciate it. Feel free to drop a comment or any questions you might have about tilt-shift lenses or shooting panoramics with them. Drop a like, that really helps us out. Subscribe to the channel if you found this entertaining or educational or anything of the above. And we really appreciate you and hope to see you in our next video. Peace out. Bye-bye.